for the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. We'll go back to Newbury and to Claire Balding.
Well, all the action is happening here now in the parade ring before the Hennessy Gold Cup. The jockeys are just being legged up onto the 16 runners for this race, and what a field it looks to be. It really is an incredibly open race. All the jockeys were announced one by one, so the crowd here had a real chance to show their appreciation for each of them. And Richard Dunwoody so far really has been the man of the moment. He's won our first 3 races here at Newbury. He rides the Taoiseach in the Hennessy, one of the 16 going to the post. Let's take a full check on those 16 runners and riders with Jim McGrath.
Thanks, Claire, and it's the biggest Hennessy field since Zeta's son beat 20 rivals in 1976. Number 1 is Coombe Hill, Jamie Osborne, a 10-to-1 chance, and Jamie will be one of the 2 jockeys in this race wearing our jockey cap. Number 2 is Addington Boy, Richard Guest at 40-to-1. 3, Boss Doyle, Shea Barry at 8-to-1. Number 4 is Call It a Day, Adrian Maguire at 14-to-1. Number 5, 7 Towers, Peter Niven at 5s. 6-to-1, You Deep, Timmy Murphy at 14-to-1. 7, Sparky Gale, Brian Story, 20-to-1 chance. 8 is Marla, Carl Llewellyn at 25s. 9, Fiddling the Facts, Mick Fitzgerald in the saddle, 10-to-1. At 10's Indian Tracker, number 10 Indian Tracker at 33-to-1. And Chris Moore taking the ride. Avro Anson is a late non-runner, leaving 16. Number 12, Sail by the Stars, Steve Wynn at 20-to-1. 13, the Taoiseach, Richard Dunwoody, bidding to make it 4 out of 4 here at Hennessy, at Newbury today on Hennessy Day, 9-2. 14 is Teeton Mill, Norman Williamson at 4-to-1. 15, Fine Time, Graham Bradley at 10-to-1. Number 16 is Hymn of Praise, Jimmy McCarthy at 25s, and 17 is The Last Fling, Seamus Durack at 33-to-1. Now an important going change. That's it's not going to good to soft anymore. It is now officially soft here just before the Hennessy.
Well, there's no doubt that this is the best national hunt race of the season so far. The classic each-way bet for the betting shop punters at home as well. There are now 16 runners with the withdrawal of Avro Anson, and it's 4 places according to the odds 1, 2, 3, 4. It's also the trifecta race of the day. And there's a big racecourse gamble taking place to add to the spice. 7 Towers was available at 9-to-1 with Corals this morning, but is now 9-2, and there's significant support for it, with the Taoiseach also being well back. Teeton Mill holding on as favourite, but no less than 9 different naps in the Racing Post naps table this morning prove just how competitive this is. Teeton Mill, though, is the favourite, 4-to-1, but I'm not sure it's going to go off favourite, because this gamble on 7 Towers is getting bigger. That's now 9-2. The Taoiseach is 5-1. Boss Doyle representing Ireland, 15-2. Good money for Fiddling the Facts at 9-1. Coombe Hill, previous winner, 10-1, along with Fine Time. Call It a Day has been well backed at 16-1, 14-1 and 12-1. You Deep has also been well supported for the Pipe stable, now 14-1. Martin Pipe's won this race twice with horses first time out, Strands of Gold and Chatham. That one's been supported. And Sparky Gale at 16-1. It's 20-1 bar, but at the moment Teeton Mill is the favourite at 4-1, but 7 Towers, 9-1 this morning, now 9-2, is without doubt the best backed horse of the day.
Yeah, an absolutely great race in prospect for us and for you at home. Well, earlier on I went down to the saddling boxes where the action just beginning to happen, and a familiar former trainer gave us his views of this year's Hennessy Gold Cup. Well, Charlie Brooks is here with us today in the build-up to the Hennessy Gold Cup, because he has one of the best records of any trainer in recent years, having won it last year with Sunny Bay and 2 years before that with Couldn't Be Better. Teeton Mill being saddled up behind us, and Charlie, a real buzz down here. I bet you wish you had a runner.
Well, I don't know. There are a lot of very tense people down here, aren't there? You can really feel the whole thing just getting to people. They're putting the saddles on. Some of the horses are getting a bit G'd up. Some are incredibly laid back. I mean, Boss Doyle looks like he's off for a day's hunting.
There was nobody holding him or anything, was there? He looked like a kid's pony. He was wonderful.
Yeah, he looks a bit more laid back than his trainer, Mouse Morris. He just looked like the trip was getting to him a bit, I thought.
Venetia Williams behind us, I think, just putting the finishing touches to Teeton Mill. And what do you think, Charlie, of the race as a whole?
Well, I think it's a very, very open race. In the nap table this morning, the Racing Post, 9 horses have been napped. So it just goes to show that anything could win it, really. There's been a lot of money for Fiddling the Facts. She will love the ground, which is going to be very soft. 7 Towers stays forever. That must bring him into it. And UDP, you know, last year was third. You know, he'll have a chance. I mean, there are a lot that could win it.
Well, I think Teeton Mill's about to come out behind us, so we'll leave it there for the moment. Thanks, Charlie. Well, there's Coombe Hill at the head of the parade. The horse is just coming out onto the course. Addington Boy following him through. Boss Doyle from Ireland, who's standing there in his saddling box. I promise you, not a care in the world, nobody holding his head. Mouse Morris saddling him up behind. Looked really laid back. There's Call It a Day with Adrian Maguire, and behind him, Seven Towers come all the way down from Mary Reevely's yard in Yorkshire. Peter Niven in the saddle. Udapay. Now there's a horse that could run very well. Noticed in the betting he's into 14-1 from 16-1. Martin Pipe, been having a quiet time for him, but it could all come right today. He's had a winner already. Sparky Gale as well, and there's Marler, the great big Marler. What a giant of a horse he is. Behind him we've got Fiddling the Facts, that a few people have been joking would be a good journalist tip, and Indian Tracker. He looks sure to make the running with Chris Maud in the saddle. Abro Anson is the non-runner, so we go down to number 12, Sail by the Stars, and the T-Shock, Richard Dunwoody, going for a four-timer. There's Teeton Mill, the grey horse, and away there in the distance is Fine Time. Let's take a look at the very latest betting. Angus Loughran is down in the ring, and I should think, Angus, there's a fair bit of action.
Well, Seven Towers is now the new favourite. It's no surprise, because here on the racecourse it's been the one horse that the real professionals and the punters here in the stand have been talking about, and it was 9-1 in the offices this morning. Teeton Mill now easy to back at 9-2. The T-Shack will hold solid at 5-1 simply because Richard Dunwoody has ridden the first three winners. Boss Doyle solid at 8-1, and the support continues for Fiddling the Facts, also 8-1. Coombe Hill 10-1 along with Fine Time, and Call It a Day is 12-1, having been 16s. It's 14-1 an upwards bar, but Seven Towers is now the new favourite to win the Hennessy.
Well, 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 the horses at the moment parading in front of this big crowd here at Newbury. Let's hand over to Jim McGrath, who's got the bird's eye view.
Thanks, Claire. Number 1 is Coombe Hill, winner of this race in 1996. Jamie Osborne in the saddle. He's not wearing the jockey cam, incidentally. 2 is Addington Boy, Richard Guest taking the ride for Nicky Richards this afternoon. Triple Print Gold Cup winner in 96. Number 3 is Boss Doyle from Ireland, bidding to become the first Irish horse in 18 years to win the Hennessy. Shea Barry takes the ride. Number 4 is Call It a Day, Whitbread Gold Cup winner, ridden by Adrian Maguire this afternoon for David Nicholson. Number 5 is Seven Towers, who's the plunge horse here. This is the one they're going for in the ring. An enormous betting plunge on this. 9's into 4-1 and the new favourite. Mary Reevely saddling it up and Peter Niven taking the ride. Number 6 is You Deep in the David Johnson colours. Timmy Murphy in the saddle for Martin Pipe this afternoon. You Deep 3rd in the Hennessy and also the Whitbread last season. Number 7 is Sparky Gale, Brian's Story. Sparky Gale, the second to Super Coin in the Mildmay of Fleet last season. Number 8 is Marler from the Nigel Twiston Davis stable. Carl Llewellyn in the saddle this afternoon. Number 9 is Fiddling the Facts. This mare ran second to Escata Feig at Chepstow last season. If she can repeat that, she'd be in with a chance today. A bit of money for her too. Number 10 is Indian Tracker from the Martin Pipe stable. Chris Maud taking the ride. He's another one who'll be wearing our jockey cam this afternoon in this race. Avro Anson is out. Number 12 is Sail by the Stars. Steve Wynn, who's wearing a jockey cam as well. Sail by the Stars is saddled up by Henry Daly. Number 13, the T-Shock, and Richard Dunwoody trying to make it 4 out of 4 here this afternoon. He's in fantastic form, and the T-Shock is as well. The T-Shock boasts a pretty good record of 9 out of 17 wins under National Hunt rules. Number 14 is Teeton Mill. This was the anti-post favourite earlier in the week, but has been replaced here on the day. Teeton Mill, an outstanding hunter chaser, won 6 of 7 under rules, and the mount this afternoon of Norman Williamson. 15 is Fine Time, saddled up by Amanda Perrott, ridden by Graham Bradley, who made a late switch to this when Samuel Bertruti came out earlier in the week. Number 16 is Hymn of Praise, and ridden by Jimmy McCarthy for Oliver Sherwood. And 17 is The Last Fling, the last of these 16 runners coming out onto the course in the Michael Jackson Bloodstock colours, and Seamus Purak taking this ride for trainer Sue Smith. They are the 16 runners for the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup of 1998. They're now breaking off and going to post on the far side of the course, and they'll jump 21 fences in all. Here's number 14, Teeton Mill. Let's watch him go to post.
Teeton Mill cantering down there to the start. He has been superseded as favourite by 7 Towers, but still has an excellent chance off only 10 stone 5. Norman Williamson, the man in the saddle, and these are his views about Teeton Mill's chances.
Norman, this has been a strongly backed horse since he won at Wincanton. Do you believe he's a worthy favourite?
Possibly a worthy favourite, but not at the price. I think if he was 5 or 6 to 1 joint favourite, I'd say yes. No disrespect to the other horses, but he didn't beat a lot at Wincanton. It looked as though he didn't, but he did it well. He jumps well, he travels well. I'd be a little bit worried now about the ground. He's won in all types, but I would think that he might be better and quicker.
I know Venetia Williams, his trainer, before the race was very worried that he might not be well handicapped at Wincanton. Well, he certainly disproved that theory.
Well, you say that, but on the day, the only horse that you could worry about was Moeller, and he ran no race whatsoever, so she still might be right. He might have beat her a furlong if he was right that day, we don't know. But yes, he did it well at Wincanton.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
A big step up in class for Teeton Mill, but here's a horse who's done it all before. Coombe Hill won this race 2 years ago. Jamie Osborne said when he won on him at Ascot recently, the race in memory of his friend John Durkin, it's one of the most emotional moments of his life, and he really hopes that he can win the race today, mainly because the family who trained this horse, Walter Dennis, who's a dairy farmer in Cornwall, has been so good to him to allow the horse to run at Ascot. But Walter Dennis was asked by Jonathan Powell how he fancied Coombe Hill's chances this time around.
Walter, 2 years ago, Coombe Hill came home in front very impressively, but today conditions are much softer and more testing. Is that a concern for you?
Well, I would think he prefers growing on the faster side of good. Today is the soft side of good, so there you go. You can't have everything, can you?
And of course, the handicapper hasn't looked on you very leniently either. You've got top weight, you're giving weight to a lot of promising young horses. It does look a tough task for you.
Yes, I would agree. He's got a very formidable task, I feel, but he's well, and he looks well, and I hope he's fit enough.
And we saw him win very impressively on his comeback at Ascot. He's clearly in very good form again this season.
Well, he had his problems at the beginning of last season, as you all well know, with his breathing problem. Well, it seems to have worked, and he's well.
We're looking forward to seeing him.
Thank you very much.
Well, there's no doubt this may be the biggest race of the season. It's one of the biggest gambles of the season. 7 Towers was 9 to 1 with Corals this morning. It's now 3 to 1 and clear favourite. There's no doubt it will start favourite. Teeton Mill being the anti-post favourite all week. Easy to back at 5 to 1. The Taoiseach's 5 to 1. Boss Doyle is 8 to 1. With Fiddling the Facts also 8 to 1. Coombe Hill at 10 to 1 along with Fine Time, and Call It a Day. Good money for that one. Now 10 to 1, but it's all 7 Towers.
Well, the starter telling them to get back there. They're very anxious to get underway here in this Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. Fiddling the Facts just behind the line. That's it. They stand in a better line now. Just 1 or 2 at the back. They're ready and under orders and away in the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup of 98, and Udeep is the first to begin from Coombe Hill. Up there too is Marla in the early stages as they go to the first of 21 fences, all over the first OK. Just behind them is Call It a Day in the early stages, followed then by Teeton Mill the Grey. Further back then is in the yellow jacket on the near side as they come to the next Hymn of Praise. Jumping up out wider, Indian Tracker in company there with Boss Doyle and Sparky Gale as they continue their journey down the back. That's a view from our jockey cam as they head to the middle one down the side in the Hennessy in the early stages, and all on their feet as they continue their journey down the back. So Coombe Hill is the leader by 3 lengths. To the Taoiseach in second as they come now towards fence number 4, and out very deep on the track, Indian Tracker's rider as carries our jockey cam here. But the leader is Coombe Hill by 2 lengths to Udeep on the inside of the Taoiseach. 1.5 lengths away, then in third is the Grey, followed then Teeton Mill, then out wider as Marla as they come to the last one down the back. Indian Tracker's out wider. Call It A Day just behind them, followed by Fiddling the Facts, and well back in the field is Boss Doyle out wider. So too is Sailed by the Stars at this stage from Addington Boy and Fine Time, and Seven Towers, the favourite, is second last as they leave the back on the first occasion, and last of all is The Last Fling. The Taoiseach leading them across the top of the course now towards fence number 6. Leads by 3 lengths here to Coombe Hill in second. Then in third is Marla, who's up on the outside. A view from the jockey Cam, the rider of Indian Tracker there. Chris Maud as they head now towards the 6th. And it's the Taoiseach who led over it from Coombe Hill in second. Marla jumps it in third. Then in fourth position, just behind them, You Deep. Followed next in the field then by Call It A Day. Out wider on the track then is Indian Tracker. Followed then by Teeton Mill behind them with Fiddling the Facts. Call It A Day about 6 or 7 lengths off the pace as they straighten up for the judge now and head towards fence number 7. The Taoiseach is the leader from Coombe Hill on the far side. Then in third is Marla. You Deep runs fourth from Fiddling the Facts. They're followed then by Teeton Mill, who's tucked away on the inside of Call It A Day. Indian Trackers wider out. Followed then next in the field in the centre by Boss Doyle. Then Sailed by the Stars and Sparky Gale as we see the view from the jockey Cam coming towards this open ditch. And that's the Taoiseach who jumped it well. The Taoiseach lands over in the lead here from You Deep in second. Then Coombe Hill, the 96 winner, over on the far side in third. Followed by Teeton Mill and the Grey in fourth as they head over that one from Marla. Then Fiddling the Facts, who's wider out. 2 lengths further back in the field then Call It A Day from Sailed by the Stars. Indian Trackers wider out on the track. Followed then by Fine Time behind them. Then Boss Doyle from Sparky Gale as they head towards the next plain fence. Addington Boy behind them. Hymn of Praise well back in the field. Second last is The Last Fling, and the favourite, the very heavily backed Seven Towers, is being shaken up in last position and not responding at all. Heading towards the water now. They jump it only once, and Coombe Hill led over it by a length and a half. To in second, we see the Taoiseach. Then in third is You Deep. Followed then by Fiddling the Facts in fourth. Then out deep on the track follows Indian Tracker as they head out of the straight now. Sailed by the Stars is next. Followed then by Teeton Mill, who's tucked away, going the shortest way on the inside from Marla. Half a length then to Call It A Day. Followed by Boss Doyle as they head into the back now. They've opened up a gap of 2 or 3 lengths here at this stage over Sparky Gale and Fine Time. Back behind them, The Last Fling from Addington Boy. Then Hymn of Praise as they head over the first one down the back. And Seven Towers has almost been pulled up. It's tailed off, I'd say. 15 lengths behind the second last horse, and getting a slap with a whip there from Peter Niven. No response at all. Over that one down the back, and Coombe Hill led there from You Deep. In third place, Teeton Mill, who seemed to hit that hard. The Taoiseach is going well in third. Followed then by Fiddling the Facts and Indian Tracker behind them. Boss Doyle is getting a bit closer out deep on the track. Followed then by Marla, and further back is Call It A Day. The Last Fling being called on for an effort now as they continue their journey towards the second last one down the back. And the Taoiseach now moving up on the outside to throw out a challenge, but ploughed through that one. Pulled up is Addington Boy at the tail of the field, and still a long last is Seven Towers. Along the back of the course now, and they race towards 6 out. And the leader here on the inside is You Deep. The first to rise from the Taoiseach and Fiddling the Facts. Teeton Mill's now grabbed hold of the bit. Coombe Hill's under pressure from Boss Doyle, has ridden along. Seven Towers has been pulled up. Indian Tracker behind them, followed by Marla. Then The Last Fling. A gap then to Sailed by the Stars from Call It A Day and Fine Time. They leave the back now in the Hennessy, and the leader is You Deep by a length. 2 in second. Teeton Mill then in third is Fiddling the Facts. A view from our jockey Cam. Chris Maud getting up there in about 6th position on Indian Tracker as they race now towards 5 out. And on the inside, it's You Deep who's just the leader from Teeton Mill, led over it well. Fiddling the Facts in third. Mistake by Indian Tracker. Further back then is the Taoiseach, who's now coming under pressure, followed by Sailed by the Stars. Then follows Boss Doyle from Marla and The Last Fling. But it's You Deep over on the far side who's just the leader. Teeton Mill now just slots in behind. Followed then about 6 lengths away by Fiddling the Facts, and then Sailed by the Stars, the Taoiseach and Boss Doyle. 4 left to jump in the Hennessy. You Deep on the far side, just the leader. Led over to half length to Teeton Mill, who's going going well. 8 lengths away then, Fiddling the Facts from Sail by the Stars. The last ditch now in the Hennessy, and Teeton Mill on a tight rein. Races to the lead now. Puts in a mighty leap at it. Leads over it from You Deep. About 8 or 10 lengths then to Fiddling the Facts. Mistake by Boss Doyle, then Sail by the Stars. A faller there the last fling. As they come to the second last, Teeton Mill jumped at 5 in front of You Deep. They're about 8 or 10 lengths to Fiddling the Facts, followed by Boss Doyle, then Sail by the Stars, Hymn of Praise and Marla. 1 left to jump in the Hennessy, and it's Teeton Mill with a commanding break on the field. Jumped it in spectacular style. In second is You Deep, third Fiddling the Facts, then Boss Doyle. But it's all over as then they come up towards the run-in now. 100 yards left to go, and punched right out. It's Teeton Mill who's going to go on and win the Hennessy in a canter. As they go to the line, Teeton Mill eased down, wins it by 15 lengths. You Deep is second. Third, Fiddling the Facts. Fourth, Boss Doyle. Followed then by Hymn of Praise in fifth. Then Marla sixth. Then further back behind them is Sail by the Stars. The rest have been pulled up or didn't complete the course, and they include Fine Time, Call It a Day, Coombe Hill, Sparky Gale, Indian Tracker, also the Taoiseach and Addington Boy. But the winner is Teeton Mill. Teeton Mill, owned by the Winning Line, trained by Venetia Williams and ridden by Norman Williamson, the winner of the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. Second, number 6, You Deep, owned by David Johnson, trained by Martin Pipe, ridden by Timmy Murphy. Third, number 9, Fiddling the Facts, owned by Mrs. E. Roberts, trained by Nicky Henderson, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald. And fourth, number 3, Boss Doyle. 7 finished in the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. Hymn of Praise was 5th. Marla was 6th, and Sail by the Stars 7th. But there's the winner, no doubt about him. Had it won, I'd say 4 or 5 out.
Venetia Williams, one of the quietest of trainers, lets her horses do the talking. Must have been so excited when this horse off just 10.5 was cruising skew, turning off the last bend, and then really wiped the floor with the rest of them.
Yes, it was really was a procession, wasn't it? We're talking about it being a competitive handicap, but once they turned into the straight, well, throughout the race really, there was only one horse that was going really well. 7 Towers out the back, always very disappointing, never able to get into the race, and this horse here just galloping away. Teeton Mill galloping to a very, very easy win, to such an extent that Norman can wave to his fans, and many fans, I should think, after being well backed.
Bred by Janet Haywood, who's had many good chases, Celtic Ride and Noddy's Ride. It's a super jumping family, and it's a real big boost for British breeding here. By Neltino, it's British through and through, and certainly need a boost from the point-to-point field. More and more we're seeing it now. That is the nursery.
Yes, the second horse, You Deep, he was third in the race last year, gone one better, and everybody said Martin Pipe's horses aren't running very well. I wish mine was running as very well, with about 70 winners as Martin Pipe, and still second. Yes, it was a very, very impressive
Boss
win.
Doyle, the Irish challenger, ran on well towards the end. He's won on heavy, goes in it. Mouse Morris, slightly worried about the ground, but he stayed well. Be a big force in staying chases later on.
He will indeed. The beauty about this horse, he's got a lovely cruising speed. He jumps well, doesn't he? So he's able to hold his position. It'd be interesting to see. There is Venetia just getting the congratulations from Norman Williamson. Venetia, who trains down in near Ross-on-Wye in Herefordshire, beautiful part of the world, and she was assistant trainer to John Edwards. She's learnt a little bit of trade from Martin Pipe and from Michael Dickinson, and isn't she putting those lessons to good effect?
She's been at the top of the table, winners to runners wise, but now she's lost that, but she's winning big races, which is far more important.
Well, the winner there coming back, that's Teeton Mill. But what about some of the heavily backed horses there? 7 Towers pulled up to 4, 6 out. Here's the winner, Teeton Mill. His 7th win from 8 starts under rules, and an outstanding training performance. An outstanding horse as well. Gets a quote of 14-1 from Ladbrokes for the Gold Cup. You can get 14-1 from Hills, 16-1 about the National with Hills, and 20-1 from the Tote for the Gold Cup. Let's check the SPs now on the Hennessy. First, number 14, Teeton Mill, ridden by Norman Williamson at 5 to 1, trained by Venetia Williams. Second, number 6, You're Deep, ridden by Timmy Murphy at 14 to 1. Third, number 9, Fiddling the Facts, Mick Fitzgerald at 9 to 1. And fourth, number 3, Boss Doyle, ridden by Shea Barry at 8 to 1. Now the favourite was number 5, Seven Towers, at 3 to 1, and was pulled up before 6 out. And Venetia Williams, first runner.